In 2010, there were a bunch of great sports moments, from LeBron James taking his talents to South Beach to Michael Vick's resurrection in the NFL. Here's the best stories from 2010, recapped by Tim, AC, Brandon, and KJ on the Kashkelly and AC Sports Report.
But this segment, we're going to talk some Heat. It's rumored that they want to team up LeBron and Wade. We're here to tell you that has no chance of happening. Millions of you just heard LeBron is going to the Miami Heat. It's the 75th annual draft. It is Thursday, April 22nd, and the St. Louis Rams, as I'm sure you just heard Roger Goodell say, and by no surprise, have taken Sam Bradford, number 1 overall. Cliff Lee, who we heard all day was going to the Yankees, well, he is not going to the Empire. He is going to the Lone Star State to join the Texas Rangers.
H2O is no longer. Cliff Lee is headed off to Philadelphia, back to Philadelphia. And AC, I don't know about you, but last night was the greatest night of my life. I did not sleep at all.
Not gonna lie, pretty damn excited right now. 4 of the best pitchers in the league for our team. I'm excited.
And the cities of Madrid are partying now as they celebrate their first ever World Cup in a hard-fought game that ended in overtime with a goal that was really a nice shot. It went off the goalie's hand in the net. But first, I think it's in order that we honor the greatest owner in sports history, George Steinbrenner. It doesn't matter if you hate the Yankees or think they buy the World Series. It takes a lot to spend the money right and get the right players to fit the puzzle. And George Steinbrenner did that. Now, reportedly, is going to hang it up for the 3rd straight off season. I don't really know what to expect at this point. I tend to think that he will stay retired this time, and here's the Eagles play the Lions. Michael Vick put on a clinic this week. He was tremendous. I'm critical of Vick, but he showed me wrong. He was able to throw. I'm not going to jump to any conclusions after one game, but Michael Vick looked good. He looked like he knows how to play the position of quarterback. The Eagles play the Lions next week. If Kevin Kolb cannot go, Michael Vick will go, and the Eagles will win that game next week. And if they win with Vick, you know what the Philly fans are going to be saying, and I'm one of them. Well, I don't know if I'm going to be saying this, but I'm a Philly fan, and I know what they're going to be saying. They're going to be saying, put Vick in, put Vick in. Can you blame them? I can't. Because if Vick does this and he's able to go out there next week, it's hard to bench a 2-0 guy for someone that was awful in his first start. I don't think it's right, because I think judging off the Detroit Lions is a mistake, but that may end up being what they have to do. Here's the thing with Vick that I just don't like all that much. He's 30 years old, so you're going from Cobb, who's like 26, a guy you waited for 3 years. You're going to give him one start, half a game, and you're going to say, oh, no, he can't be the starter anymore. Starting quarterback for the Eagles. And I am going to go out on a limb here and make a conspiracy theory as we talk about this whole thing. But here's what Andy Reid said, first of all, that he still loves what Cobb can do, but that Michael Vick's just absolutely mowing right now, which is true. I mean, I'm not going to say Michael Vick isn't playing great right now, and I'm not going to say he doesn't give him the better option to win this year, but long term, I'm still leaning towards Kevin Kolb. That will never happen probably in Philly. Kevin Kolb will probably either be released, he'll probably be released being that he's due $13 million next year, which was just stupid on the Eagles' part to do. But Michael Vick, can he do this here long term? He's not going to do what he's done the last 2 weeks. Let's be real here. He played out of his mind against the Packers, who are a very solid D, but really probably didn't have a game plan for him, or much of one. And then he played the Lions. I mean, you can't tell off of that. And with Cobb, you can't sit here and tell me he sucks. He might, but I don't know that after a half of football.
We are talking about a man who I said he sucked, and I gotta give him props. He proved me wrong. Michael Vick. Now, I'm not ready to say Michael Vick is Peyton Manning yet, but KJ, what do you think's gone right for Michael Vick this year? That he's become a guy who was, a nice quarterback. He could run, but really wasn't that good a passer. Why has he been better this year?
Well, I think it's kind of like all the threats he has at wide receiver position. He has a great wide receiver in Macklin. He's improving very fast, and you got Deshaun Jackson, and then Avon, and you have a tight end like Selleck, and then a good running back like LeSean McCoy. So it keeps defenses a little more with the run game, because when he was at Atlanta, he didn't have, what I remember, he didn't have much of a rushing game except for himself.
I strike Bahamas, I go by the name of MLD. You know the name, money like dirt. Come to represent for the Shouter Boys. Come out, boys, stand up.
The Redskins won the McNabb Bowl 17-12. So, what are your thoughts on this?
I can't just thick. It's terrible. I'm just really upset at the fact the way the game went. The way I was really upset the entire game, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of good things to take away from this. It was almost a struggle for 12 points. And against the Redskins defense, that shows me something.
Have you heard enough of Troy Aikman?
I've had enough of Troy Aikman.
Yeah, because this whole game he talked about how terrible Kevin Cobb is. Meanwhile, Kevin Cobb went 21 of 30.
Kevin Cobb basically almost salvaged this game.
Yeah, he had a great game. Michael Vick was playing awful early, with the exception of that run.
He didn't. Yeah, that run was good.
But he didn't
get a chance to show anything.
Yeah, but I mean, Cobb, the whole game, he's sitting there. He's about to take it. The Eagles were not that far away from getting a touchdown. If Andy Reid would learn how to use the timeout and wait till a 2-minute warning, they probably could have done a lot more in that game. If LeSean McCoy goes and gets that touchdown instead of falling out of bounds, it's called, when you're falling out of bounds like this, you take a step to the right and then you go in. Then you go mow the next guy. That's what it's called.
Guess who? Back like I forgot something. It's Novi, baby.
Let's get into this perfect game. This easily, to me, was the best performance I have ever seen in any game by any pitcher. Was it for you?
Yeah, definitely. And especially in the playoff debut. That's pretty good. That's astounding, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's especially your first playoff game. You don't give up a hit. It was an incredible game by Holiday. It's one of the best I've ever seen, or it probably is the best I've ever seen, and probably, if you don't understand what you just saw yesterday, you will probably never see that again in your life.
The Giants are champions. Give me your thoughts.
I went against our pick, as many of you know. We expected the Rangers to win in 6, but the Giants really came out dominating. And it's an interesting story these guys got here, because they weren't projected to be one of the dominant teams in the MLB, and they just came out firing on all cylinders this postseason. Really impressed with their performance.
In my opinion, these are the fans that have a right to talk about LeBron, because these are the people that he did wrong. He did this team wrong. He did the organization wrong, and he especially did the fans wrong.
LeBron James is going back to play the Cleveland Cavaliers. Not in a Cleveland Cavaliers jersey, but he will be wearing a Miami Heat jersey, and he will get booed to death. Right, AC?
I think he will. I don't think it's fair to him, but I think he will.
I mean, I don't know if it's fair. I think it's fair to him from Cleveland fans. You know, if he goes out to LA and he's booed, you know what? That's just fans being serious. It's like you don't like the other good player. But in Cleveland, we had NBA Jerry on a couple days ago, and he said these are the people he did wrong. These are the people that he basically owes an apology to, and I think that's true. I mean, LeBron James, whether you wanted good ratings on the decision or not, it doesn't really matter. You should have told Cleveland, and I think that's the general reaction from everyone. What's up? I'm Tim. He's AC. This is the Cash Kelly and AC Sports Report. 38 points, 8 assists, 5 boards. Heat win 118-90. AC, weren't there people yesterday saying the Cavs were going to win?
There were people yesterday that absolutely saying the Cavs were going to win, and I said, you're are absolutely crazy to every one of them. People are like, oh, well, the Heat are so bad. I'm like, okay, so don't listen to every ESPN analyst, because the Heat are not the worst team in the NBA. There's a lot worse teams, cough, cough, Sixers, and they're not as bad as people make them out to be. They're bad compared to what they were supposed to be, but then again, they were supposed to be 82-0, I guess.
They're not completely. The Heat will be fine. I really think that some pressure's off them now, especially LeBron. So here's what LeBron post game, when he was asked, "Do you have anything to say to the Cleveland fans?" He said, I want to say that I've really enjoyed my 7 years here, and we have a lot of great memories, and unfortunately we weren't able to finish the job and get a title." Something to that effect, I think. Jason Worth, longtime Philly, signed a 7-year, $126 million deal with the Washington Nationals. It is considered the highest paying deal for a free agent outfielder in MLB history. This for a guy that batted something like .294 with 27 home runs. Now, AC, explain to the people why this is a bad deal, because it is a bad deal.
Yes, Jason Worth is young. Yes, he did have a good year, but he's only had, what, one good year? Yeah, pretty much.
He's had 3. He hit 24, 36, and 27 home runs. So he's had a few good years, but I don't know if it warranted this.
Well, yeah, but you look at, you got to look at your definition of good. Everybody has a different definition of good, and I'm pretty sure to 9 out of 10 people, this guy is not good enough to have $126 million for 7 years thrown at him. That's $18 million a year. That's more than Derek Jeter is expected to get. I don't understand it.
Yeah, Jeter signed that deal yesterday to make like 15. Worth's worth more, I think, at this point. But the issue for me is the Nationals are a small market team who we've seen over the past few years wants to make a splash. They tried to sign Teixeira. He is worth that type of money. Mark Teixeira, hands down, he can field, he can hit. He is worth that type of money. Ryan Zimmerman, he is worth that type of money. Jason Worth, not so much. If you look at comparable outfielders, you're talking about Jason Bay signed for $16 million. Probably not worth it. We don't know because he was too busy being hurt last year. Matt Holliday signed for $18 million, and the general reaction was the Cardinals bid against themselves, which in a sense is what I think the Nationals did here. Cam Newton won the Heisman last night, and how did people receive that, KJ?
They were quite surprised and kind of felt like it was a landslide, and I don't know. I think he should have won it. I don't know why people were so surprised about it.
Now, the reason people weren't going to vote for Cam Newton is stuff that happened off the field. Not this year, but a few years back. So 2 years ago, there was a report that he cheated on a test at Florida. I don't know, last time I checked, cheating on a test doesn't make you play better, does it?
No, and last time I checked, it has nothing to do with football.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but then we're talking about his dad tried to get Mississippi State to pay $200,000 for him to go there. First of all, it's been proven by the NCAA that it was his dad, not Cam Newton. Second of all, he didn't go to Mississippi State, so he never got the money. And third of all, who cares? I am sick of these 80-year-old men running football that want to live in the past. Players get money all the time. All these agents give them money. So people just need to stop at this point.
Oh, yeah, people need to stop talking. It's ridiculous. This has been going on for months now, and I'm just tired of hearing it.
Well, this whole thing with people getting money, people acting like it's new. It's not new. It's been happening always, but it's just being found out now.
It seems like every time you get a good college player in there,
they always want to try to degrade them or something like that. Like with the test. Who cares about the test? It's a test.
And he's not at that same school. Honestly, do you think the football players go to school because they actually care about school? No. The majority of these guys, if the NFL allowed it, would go straight to the NFL, which I don't understand why the NFL doesn't allow it.
Terrell Pryor was suspended for the first 5 games of next season. He will still be able to play in the bowl game, along with 5 others from Ohio State, right?
I believe it might be him and total of 5, or him and 5 others. I'm not sure if it's 4 others, something like that.
Yeah, for supposedly selling game memorabilia. Now, we've been over this, but how stupid is that?
I honestly believe that 5. I don't think that's worth 5 game suspension. Maybe a 1 game suspension or 2, if that. But honestly, I don't feel like that's a big deal that they have to worry about. And I think really the NCAA is getting a little out of hand with looking for too many little things.
Yeah, I mean,
outside of football.
You sold memorabilia. Good for you. I mean, honestly, my thing now has become, we grew up through the steroid era. If you didn't do something wrong on the field, then I really don't care, because I don't think you should be suspended if you didn't do something wrong on the field within limits. Now, Vic killed dogs, he should be suspended. That made sense. But
he was in jail, so
yeah, that
made sense.
But
yeah.
And Roethlisberger, whether he did or didn't, was pretty clear he did, and he should be suspended. But if you steal something out of the local gas station down the road, or once you suspended, how stupid is this?
People aren't perfect.
Yeah, I mean,
people are not perfect.
I'm a Penn State fan. He's a Texas fan.
I'm an Ohio State
fan. Yeah, we
fan.
dislike Ohio State as much as anyone, except him. But like, we understand here that this is just stupid. You get suspended for selling your own memorabilia. This is like O.J. Simpson going to jail for stealing his own memorabilia. Now, obviously, he stole that, but it's stupid to think that
O.J. Simpson's just an idiot, so we can't really talk about that.
Yeah.
So there you have it. From Brett Favre's downfall to the Giants' rise to the World Series, those were the biggest stories in the 2010 sports world. What will happen in 2011? No one knows yet, but you can bet one thing. We'll be here to cover it all on the Cash Kelly and AC Sports Report. Happy holidays, have a good new year. Let's hope for a good 2011.